Until the beginning of this season, there were plenty of positives. There'd been improvement, ups and downs, but you could see that Solskjaer was doing what he'd been recruited for, which was to give United a bit more of that United identity. And we'd obviously improved in our league positions. We'd had some runs in the Europa League. So it looked like, although I thought it was a bit too much to give him his 3-year contract in the summer, but you could see that he'd earned the chance for this season to get a few signings and to see if we could move on. And then the negatives kind of, I guess, relate to those signings and how it didn't really work out, because Sancho, Varane, Ronaldo came in, expectations went up to here, and I just think they didn't get going this season. Very recent ones with Liverpool and Manchester City. And I guess you just can't, from where he was recruited to improve and get us to a point where we're competing with City and Liverpool, and we're obviously not there. And it looks like we're going backwards. If he'd come back, if he'd come back from the international break, beaten Watford, beaten Villarreal, beaten Chelsea and beaten Arsenal, then I think he had the chance to keep going. Now, with that terrible result against Watford, you think, why did they not get rid of him before? Why did they not give themselves the international break? You've got 3 that are totally not available now. You've got Conte, who's obviously at Spurs. Interestingly, Carrick gave his press conference today, and that was followed by a press conference from Gareth Southgate, who has tied his future to England, so that's another one out of the way. Zidane, from everything I read, is not interested in the job. So those are 3 who I don't think are in the picture. You've then got Brendan Rodgers. His name's being suggested. Amorim also is in the frame. I'm not sure what you make of that one. I think he'd be a risky appointment with his background. And then Pochettino. Initially, I think everyone was saying no, it's not going to happen, but from what I've read, potentially he could be available. But as we said before the interview, the fact is it looks a bit confused, because you've got Carrick coming in, then United are going to put an interim manager in place, so it looks like there's going to be a fair bit of time before we actually do get to the proper candidate to replace Solskjaer. It would take a big turnaround for that to happen, but I think they've done it early enough just. It probably would have been better, obviously, before the international break. They're 12 points off Chelsea. That's a lot, but there's a lot of football to be played. They can potentially, it looks like there's going to be a very competitive league with Liverpool and City, obviously a lot of teams that can take points off other teams. So United could get back into that top 4. I think top 4 is realistic. League, I don't think anyone's realistically thinking they're going to be challenging for that. You mentioned the Champions League. I think there's no reason why not. We've seen last year with the appointment of Tuchel after Lampard that a team can fire a manager around this time who aren't performing, and a good manager can come in and put his imprint on it. And they're still in the FA Cup. United, I think it wouldn't be a success, but if a new manager came in answer to your question, I think a success would be to close the gap on City and Liverpool. Everybody thought the gap was closing with Solskjaer, but the defeat against Liverpool, the defeat against City showed that the gap's still there. I think if someone can come in and have a positive impact, and I don't want to talk too long, but situations like Pogba need to be resolved. You know, he's been someone at the club for 2-3 years. They need to sort out that type of situation. Is De Gea good enough? Are all these squad players like Bailey, Matic, Mata, Jones, are these Man United players who are going to take the club forward? I think the new manager needs to make some big decisions, be decisive and close that gap.